But yeah, let's jump into UFC 249 then. Um,
Mm.
so obviously you guys also all seen UFC 249. Have you guys with let's talk about the Ferguson and Gaethje fight. Did you guys see the fight?
That was the recent
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, last week.
No, I haven't managed to watch it just yet.
Okay, you need to see it. It's
Okay.
good. It's not actually what you think would happen. Like it actually was like a killer show with Gaethje. Gaethje actually beat Ferguson, which actually in dominant fashion. It was literally always through boxing and everything. You thought Ferguson could stand up with him, but it was literally there's no. At the fair, there was nothing. Ferguson couldn't.
There was
nothing
factors leading up to that, though, like the fact that like
Right.
Ferguson like cut weight twice in that same month.
Yeah.
Or what the
like,
undercard ones?
Yeah, he cut. It was actually a main event, you know, and like
Yeah.
he was
Oh,
scheduled to fight Khabib, and Khabib's like the champion, and you know he was scheduled to fight him, but because Khabib couldn't make it as a champion, they then held an interim fight with someone on the same weight class. I think
Gaethje,
so he then had to cut weight back down, you know, but then he didn't have to do that, and that was the condition because it was a last minute fight.
He did it.
But he still ended up doing it.
So you reckon
like,
that's a factor?
Obviously, I think it's definitely a factor. Like it's that, you know, if you're constantly like you know, cutting weight, it must have some kind of like factor in your performance.
Oh no, it will. You know? It will for sure. Yeah.
True. That's the thing. Yeah. Because to be fair, I thought it'd be a factor as well. He said Ferguson said that had nothing to do with the weight cut. That's what he's saying. But he looked basically in that fight as well. He looked quite flat-footed. He didn't seem as sharp as he used to be, and whatnot as well. So that's what everyone thought it was either that or like some outside factors. But I can't.
Maybe if he was gonna, because maybe if he was training to fight Khabib originally, he was focusing more on grappling because obviously Khabib's a wrestler, innit? And like the most dangerous wrestler as well. So maybe he kind of lost that edge when it came to the stand-up. Who knows?
Yeah. That's what. I think that's what he said.
Definitely, I think that's definitely what happened as well. Because if you think about it, like when Gaethje has never fought like the way he did ever in his career, you know, like Gaethje has always been the kind of person who would kind of stand and bang, you know, going for a brawl, basically all that warfare. But this one, he was very technical, very patient, you know, held his ground, you know, like, you know, really picked his shots. You know, his accuracy was like through the roof. Like, which is like, it was crazy, you know. And like, I feel like if Ferguson had trained for a grappler, you know, he wouldn't have been prepared for someone who with this kind of level of, you know, striking. You know, he would have been more prepared for someone who's like, you know, ready to go in close, you know, for like a clench or a takedown, you know, not like just standing far away and picking his shots.
That's true.
So was Ferguson trying to kind of like, was he trying to meet the stand-up with his own stand-up, or was he looking to grapple, or?
Yeah, he was basically meet his own stand-up. It was kind of like he didn't like adjust, you know, like because you know the first round, you know, you both kind of like stand up, you see what people's about. And Gaethje was picking him apart because, you know, Ferguson was going in really wildly with shots. But then, you know, after the first round, you think the second round he would then go in for like more like clench options or like the wrestling or something else.
Yeah.
But he just kept trying the same things over and over again. You know, just trying to. It didn't work.
That's the thing though, because like Ferguson, like he never really goes away from his plan, does he? I think he did it thinking that eventually Gaethje would tire out and everything, but Gaethje just kept on coming because I think, like you said, Gaethje played a more relaxed role that he normally does. Like he's normally going out and brawling you for like two and a half rounds, and I think Ferguson was basically banking on that, so he basically gets tired. But the tiredness never came, and they kept picking him apart. I don't think there was even a round that he lost, was there? I don't think.
No.
Maybe the second round. That's the thing. Is this?
I wouldn't have even that what would you call it? Like a stun that, you know, the uppercut that Ferguson gave Gaethje at the end of the round two. Yeah. I guess it was a knockdown, but he didn't really like. Did it count as a knockdown?
I think so.
I don't know if it did, but it must have maybe.
That's the thing. It was
like as after that, because it was right at the end of the round, he had some time to recover. So it was kind of like all that work for nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
It felt like kind of.
Yeah. So what do you guys think then? How much do you reckon if a fighter goes against his game plan? I guess if the opponent change, how bad do you think it will affect him then? Do you think because apparently Ferguson's with prior to this, he said he always trains his fight for like as if like he's fighting himself. He doesn't worry about his opponent. But do you think it made not a big difference then, the fact that it was Gaethje then? Do you think it was Gaethje was just a better man, you reckon? Or was just that he didn't have time to prepare for Gaethje himself? What do you think?
If he openly says that he doesn't train for his opponents and he trains for himself, he's basically dumb. Yeah. You're not fighting you and like there's the whole obviously, like I don't really know what he would mean by that. Like, you got to work on your mistakes and whatever your weaknesses. But obviously, everyone that comes in front of you is different, and they're going to do something different. So you kind of train for that, really.
True, yeah.
It's not like you can't be obsessed with what the other person's going to do, but at the same time, it's warfare. You got to try and anticipate even slightly what your opponent's going to do, just to have like an edge.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
If he didn't do that, he's stupid.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like in that sense, like Ferguson's his own worst enemy. Like he can't like go with the fact that like he doesn't have to do the things that he does, but he does the things that he does because he's Tony Ferguson.
And
he doesn't have to cut weight twice. He doesn't have to like but he does it. He didn't have to take the fight to begin with, but he did it anyways. It was it's something that he needs to start like. Maybe like go back to the drawing board and dial back the things that make him, him, and strengthen the things that like make him, like in a good way, or like dial back the things that hinder him, basically. He just needs to do that.
Yeah, it was a strange fight though, because literally the way everyone reacting to his footwork, he wasn't doing nothing to Gaethje. His when he took it, he didn't try and take him down at all. People thought that could be a good strategy for him because Ferguson, he's like a renowned jiu-jitsu.
He's a great wrestler.
Wrestler.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
I think he won national championships wrestling as well, and he's got jiu-jitsu as well. So they thought
like you'd think he'd want to work to his strength then, but maybe he was just a bit. He was obviously either where he's training, he was preparing for a wrestler before, or his pride got in the way. Or even both.
True, yeah. That was strange. He fought like a warrior as well. So I don't know power him too much.
Chin of gold.
But
Chin of gold.
Yeah, his chin is crazy. But like it's
crazy.
It was a surprising fight the way it was, and like the way do you see I'm not sure if you guys watched the Joe Rogan Fat Companion podcast. I think it was on Saturday night. They had Eddie Bravo there as well, who basically like is a jiu-jitsu coach for Tony Ferguson, and they were saying that like they literally didn't know what to do to him, didn't know what to say because he's a jiu-jitsu coach and he got into the ring to give him some advice, and I think that was his first time ever being like a head coach. He didn't want to be a head coach. I think he wasn't even a head coach, but it was the first time going in there to try and tell Ferguson what to do. So he said like he froze, and that's why he was like saying do I can't remember Amunari roll, I think.
In a Mario roll.
Yeah, that's the one there out of nowhere. Because I remember you were saying, Dixon, about how his corner wasn't doing much to help him at all. But I think I think they're all just startled. They're confused at how much he was losing. But that's the thing. And he never loses them. That's the thing. But
to be fair, like he had gone on like a 7-win streak or like
12,
11. So 11 win streak. Gaethje would have been his 12. But it's crazy. Like if you're that successful, But that's the thing with like martial arts, you know, you're that successful, you're on a roll, and then it's like, you know, you just meet that one person that just, you know, happens to dismantle everything, you know, that you throw at them.
You work for.
It's like, that you work for, and it's so hard to watch, you know, like because you watch a corner just blatantly just like telling him, you're looking good, Tony. You go out there, Tony. Like, you know, if you're looking good, you're looking good. When he's clearly bleeding, he's clearly you know, behind on points. You know, he's clearly getting beaten up. You know, like, you know, some good stern advice will be very beneficial. You know, like what do you think about the importance of like corner advice? You go like, you know, like do you think it's good to be thinking about that kind of things, like the points, you know, how badly you're going to beat up when you're in a 5-round fight, you know?
Well,
like
sometimes I think
how important.
You trust me. Sometimes you don't always need someone to tell you when you're getting beaten up. Sometimes you feel it. Trust me, you feel it. Maybe if you're seeing too many stars, someone might need to give you a little slap in the face. Like,
that's true.
You're getting hammered too much. Like I've had it before. I've had to be like, look, you're taking too many punches. Cover up more, keep your distance, or something like that. Again, the talk always has to be technical. You know, like no one's gonna say. I've had like tons of rounds where my coaches haven't said well done because you know, I don't need a pat on the back in between the rounds. I need to know. Exactly. I need to know what to do. You know, like congratulations come after.
Yeah.
You know? Obviously, if you've literally battered the person in rounds, then you come back and go, great round. There you go. When you deserve a boost, you get a boost. But until then, it's it's technical talk.
It's work.
Exactly.
You gotta give them good advice to go out there to not only try and survive, you know, like also like, you know, fight in a safe manner, you know. Because the fight got stopped, by the ref.
Yeah, eventually. But what do you think then? Do you reckon? I guess like in terms of corners as well. Do you reckon it's better that a corner should give you like positive advice even if you're going losing, or like should or
what
give
do you
you
say?
like,
repeat the question.
Should a corner like give you basically positive advice while you're losing, or you reckon should it give you straight up truth?
Say it again. Yeah, I think you.
Is it I'm saying so when like say if you're down a couple of rounds, do you think it's better for a corner to give you like positive advice, like say like you're doing well, just change this, change that, or do you think they should be like more truthful and say you're down like these rounds, you need to be stronger? What do you think? Because it might obviously affect the fighter in a different way if like he thinks that he's losing, a corner doesn't think like he's losing quite bad. So
that's a hard one, because in my experience, in my fights, like my coaches, they always go, if I'm down rounds, they'll tell me like you're down rounds, and I don't feel good to hear that. Well, like the part of you that's like tired and wants to go home, and there's the part of you which is the warrior, which is like, no, let's do this shit. But me personally, when I hear that, I'm rounds down, you know, it will either motivate me to do more.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, it does because it hurts to hear it. It's like, shit, okay, I'm losing. But then when you go back out there, your body takes over and you're like, right, let's get up, let's do better. You know, so I think it's definitely best to be honest. Definitely. You got it. Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I thought like Tony, when you see him fight and everything, I feel like he's a warrior, but I feel like his team needs to like cuddle him a bit. Like if they say you're losing, you need to do something crazy, it might mess with his psyche. I feel like his psyche for pain per se is high, but maybe like the mental aspects of it, I'm not sure how high it is for him to be telling like how much he's losing, but that's why he had the guy had like Eddie Barbers like, so you're doing well, Tony. Just keep at it.
Sometimes I feel like nowadays, like in this day and age in sport, like sometimes I feel coaches they're not as hard as they were like back in the day when you watch like old school boxing fights like Sugar Ray Leonard or Muhammad Ali. Especially Sugar Ray Leonard in particular, he's one of my favorite boxers. And his manager, Angelo Dundee, who was also the manager for Muhammad Ali as well. I remember there was a fight. Which fight was it? It was his fight with Benitez, and he was it? I can't remember which fight it was, to be honest. But basically, he says to him in between the round, he's like, "You're blowing this. Like, you're blowing it." Yeah. Like, and that bit is, he writes that in his book as well. Yeah. And you can also hear that in the fight if you watch it on YouTube. Okay. If I can remember what it was, but yeah, but you hear him going, "You're blowing it. Like, you're blowing it. You need to fix up." You know. So sometimes I feel like this day there's so much pride. I think there's even more nowadays. Yeah. Maybe some coaches are scared to tell their fighter about themselves, like in the fight when everything's being recorded and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, but back in the day, it would have been all right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you
I think it goes to like a point of like in terms of like, I was gonna say like mental health, because like Tony has like, I'm not saying like he's had a streak of mental health, but people are aware of his mental health stability. He's saying that would be like, people worry for him. Like even in the last press conference, still like, you know, what do you think about like his depression and stuff like that? Like I feel like, but if you're a fighter in a cage, you know, I feel like what I would imagine would happen, you know, it's like you kind of like, more instinctual feelings take over, you know.
Yeah.
These kind of things, you know, if you're playing a competition, you kind of leave a lot of things at the door. You know, it's going to work, you know, basically. You're there to work. Okay. And it's hard, you know, because it's they're getting punched in the head for one, and then you're getting this kind of like emotional kind of thing, like, you know, you go to your corner that meant to be there to support you in some way. They're telling you behind rounds, but I feel like what's most important out of corner advice, it should always be like constructive things, you know, like in terms of like, you know, like if you watch that fight again with Gaethje's corner, they're giving him like literal constructive feedback. They'll say like, you know, you're hanging in the pocket too much, you know, punch 2 punches, get out, stuff like that, you know, like, you know, just like telling him exactly what to do, because, you know, you got to think your fighter's there, pumped up with adrenaline. He's like, you know, there's a lot of emotion swirling around. You need to like be really clear with what you're saying. You need to like, you know, give them good advice for them to actually go out there again. You know,
so clear, concise. It's to fair, it was like a strange scene when they're losing. There wasn't much conversation going for it as well. But I guess what do you think about Tony now then? Actually, let's do Tony for now then. What do you think about Tony's career now then? Do you reckon he can bounce for this loss? Or do you? This is like a 12-fight. You reckon?
I reckon. Well, after like to build another 12-fight win streak is it's like
tough ask.
That's going to be hard, you know. But I reckon he could, like, but it's just I'm worried about his age. You know, he's quite old, and in this kind of sport, you know, you kind of need to be like you're quite agile, But as long as he keeps up his training and like, you know, because he's a crazy guy training, you know, he's always full of surprises. You can never really know how he's going to fare later on down his career. He could become more wiser, have a better fighter, because he's so unorthodox right now, the way he fights. Imagine if he's like becomes more conventional and actually learns how to fight like in a more conventional manner. Like that could be a new Tony to see.
You reckon that help him though? Because I reckon that might be a hindrance, because the way he's so like unconventional out there and does like weird like stuff, weird attacks. I reckon that what helps his skill set, because that confuses like his opponents. So I'm not sure. Do you reckon if he does, you mean if he fine-tune some stuff, you mean? And then,
like for instance, like he keeps turning his back, you know, to the opponents. Like, and it's like, you know, normally there's times they normally fall for it, and like, you know, he does like a spinning elbow, or like, you know, like he normally comes up with like another spin attack or something, and it catches him by surprise. You know, catch anyone by surprise. But when you're fighting someone who's like patient, you know, who's willing to take their time with you, you know, and who also has the strength of Gaethje to back up their punches, you know, so it's not like they're scared or anything. They're literally they know you're crazy, so they're respecting you. They're respecting your power. You're respecting your tool set, basically, to actually take the time, go in warily, not fall for any of these traps. You know, that you definitely need a plan B. Basically, you need a plan B to fall on when plan A doesn't work.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it's true. That's nuts. But you reckon? Because now obviously we know Gaethje is now going to be facing Khabib as well for the unification for the belts as well. So I'm thinking before we get that, do you reckon it's now time for what's it called, for Ferguson to get Conor? Because everyone's thinking if Ferguson lost, Conor hasn't won in lightweight for a while. So him versus Ferguson. What do you guys think of that matchup?
I think Conor. I've heard that Conor will be facing Masvidal.
Yeah, that's
Masvidal.
Yeah, I heard that's in the works as well. But that'd be crazy. That'd
be really good.
Well, yeah, I hope it would. The last time I got excited for a UFC matchup, I was very, very disappointed.
Oh, which one was that?
That was Adesanya and Romero.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like I hit a nerve and we didn't go into that.
That was a slow fight. Yeah.
I was your Romero. I was your Romero dick rider. I ain't gonna lie to you before that fight. And after that fight, oh man, come on.
I knew Adesanya was gonna win, but I didn't realize it was just gonna be like that kind of pace, you know? Because the fight was so overhyped. The fight was like, explosive fighter, Raul Romero. He just ends up standing like the statue of God. Like
the most exciting part of that whole thing. Was when they did the face-off the day before, and he broke the cigar. He pretended to light the cigar and broke it, dashed it. That was the best. That was the most exciting part. That was more exciting than the fight.
This is an interesting question though. What do you think about the whole challenger champion concept? So if you're a challenger, do you think it's up to you to bring it towards a champion, or do you think it's
Always. If you're a champion, you have the belt or the title or whatever.
Yeah.
You've earned that, so it's your luxury to sit back, counter if you want. That's because it's attack and defense. You're defending what you have, so you don't actually have to go forward. But if you don't, if you're going for something, then you got to go for it. So that's why I thought Romero should have steamrolled.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I reckon honestly, the few shots that he did throw, like a big left hand, it surprised.
It did body
Adesanya. So I think if he just went for it, then he would have. I reckon he might have done it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I thought as well. I was hoping him to go the overhand left and just rocket his face or something.
It was looking risky, man. I remember I was starting to sweat when I saw it.
I was like, come on, man. But I was just, that one was just so disappointing, man. That's a bad one.
It kind of makes you think of the whole Justin and Tony and Khabib situation, because Khabib's in Russia just chilling. While everyone else is just fighting amongst themselves just for the chance to fight him. Justin win against Tony. Next thing you know, Conor's calling Justin out for a fight. That kind of thing. It's like
everyone's trying to kick Khabib.
Everyone's trying to do it. If I was Khabib, I would personally just wait for all of them to just fight it out and then just pick the winner. I mean, at this sense, it seems like it depends. It depends on your mindset, because I feel like if there's this much confusion, in the whole in your division, why go through this? Let them all sort it out first, and then you just knock them out one by one. That's what I would think anyway.
I think that's his luxury as well. He gets to sit at the top and let the others line up. That's his position.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I was watching what's online. Apparently, he said that he's looking to return in September. So I think the next fight they're going to have to make is the Justin Gaethje fight. So I think that's why Conor is going to be up and about with the Masvidal fight maybe as well. I think Tony will be out for a while as well. But then with the Khabib Gaethje fight, what do you think he'll win for that one? I reckon I don't know no more. I feel like Gaethje caused a lot of problems for Khabib, because them punches was way too crisp, and apparently he's a collegiate wrestler as well, apparently, Gaethje.
Yeah. He started off with wrestling, which is the most confusing thing because he hasn't wrestled at all in his current UFC career.
Yeah.
It's just been knocking people out. Going into like fights and brawls. Like he hasn't got a whole like extensive wrestling history.
Yeah.
And it's like it's crazy to think. I feel like Justin is in a not like you can't really gauge him. He's got so much untapped potential. It's funny because like you can see like his form from when he first started, and he's throwing like big wide punches. Like he hasn't got the fight IQ to like at least move his head out the way, or like or like just not take as much punches as he does. But as long as he like lands his own, he doesn't care. But like now, he's actually taking in just this basic form of boxing. Like just like keeping a tight guard, like standing, planting your feet, just like, moving out the way, countering, and then getting out the pocket, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's who knows what he could actually perform on the ground, who knows what he could do,
You reckon he can catch Khabib with a punch? Do you reckon?
He's got the power in his hands.
Yeah.
I reckon he could probably knock out Khabib. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
That's a big one, yeah. That's tough. I don't know.
New controversy. That's
the title. You could probably knock off Khabib.
Well, it's that classic striker versus grappler showdown, really, is what it would be.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. Like, especially. Literally, all could be. You could be punching him up left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
But if he catches an inch of you, you're going down.
Yeah. Just catch a little finger, literally.
It just doesn't look nice. It just doesn't look pleasant to be with Khabib on the ground.
That's the only thing, because I'm thinking like, if how serious is grappling? Because I thought the same. I first thought Edson Barboza would give Khabib some trouble, because he's meant to be like a top striker as well. But when Khabib literally manhandled him and literally every single person, it's like, is there anyone who actually can beat him in the lightweight? Because apparently he walks around like 200 pounds apparently. So like he is like a big geezer. That's the thing.
Yeah. Khabib is hard there. Like I feel like I mean, this is a guy who used to like wrestle bears. Like he's like he's some kind of like he's built different. I feel like if someone was able to take him down, it's going to be a hard one, because you not only would you need the gas tank to even just survive, those rounds, because like grappling is like it's exhausting, it's very exhausting. To be able to even like get out or to get control someone or maintain position is very exhausting. To have that kind of gas tank to be able to withstand the rounds, or even possibly win the rounds. But Gaethje was talking about possibly using like leg kicks as part of his like game plan against Khabib, and like I think that's really effective. Do you know why? Because as if he's doing like leg kicks, right? He can mix it up with knees, and when you're going down for a takedown, you're moving your head down to that area. He has a higher chance of literally just catching him with like right like a knee straight to his face as he's coming down. He has a better chance of like, as long as he attacks the base, he can really mess up a lot. His footwork mess up a lot. Of his rhythm and
use fakes. Definitely.
Yeah. And he's been caught before as well. Like he got caught in the Michael Johnson fight. He didn't. I think he gathered himself again, but so I guess he is there to be catched. I don't think he'll get caught as much as Tony did, though. I don't think he's that reckless, but it is
But watch out for Khabib's punches as well, because like even his come out of nowhere when he was fighting Conor, and that punch just came out of nowhere. Conor, all downhill from there.
Khabib's literally like a caveman when it comes to punches. Like he comes from anywhere. He basically throws his body into it, and wherever it goes basically. Yeah. It's insane.
Boxing is weird. It's weird to watch. It's like, because it's like you see like high level boxers, they're like stuff like that. But Khabib, because that's where all the power comes from. Because he's like really committing to the punches. He jumps into them, and it's. I haven't seen like boxing like that. Like sometimes they'll throw a couple of times, but this is a guy who like puts a lot of weight behind his punches.
And everything.
They're there to hurt.
That's the thing. You should see him playing basketball. like the amount of traveling he does is unreal. Like he does, like they talk about Dagestani basketball. Literally, the ball, running the ball, they shoot. It basically netball, but you can run basically, and like they wrestle each other.
They wrestle as well.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
Is it one of the embeddeds? But what he does is just nuts. That's the thing. But yeah. Well, let's go.
I think people's height will have something to do with it as well. Like obviously Khabib's his reputation.
Yeah.
It precedes him, and that might maybe make people at the back of their mind question themselves.
Yeah, I get you.
So if he can get over that, then I think he'll have a good chance as well. If he's just like, well, he's just another man. Because, you know, like everyone says, you know, I knew someone was going to mention, Khabib's the one that wrestles bears and stuff like that. People hear that. But if you can get over that, then, you know, it's just another dude, really.
Yeah, this is the thing though with Justin. He I feel like he respects. He's got a lot of respect for like his opponents, and that's like that's a good thing because like he doesn't like underestimate them. He actually, in fact, overestimates them. You know, and like it could be a hindrance at one point, but like it also could help. You know, with their like preparedness.
Yeah,
you know, obviously that's obviously where probably quite a lot because you know he was talking. He went into the fight the other side, and that's why his corner were like, "Shit, we didn't expect this."
Yeah, like, it's so dumb. What do you think of like Donald Cerrone's loss?
Oh yeah, Joe.
That was nice. And I thought it was just I think it was nice. I thought it was lovely. I don't know what is that word. I think Conor was on his best behaviour. And,
okay.
It was just lovely, man. It was just nice. It was sweet. It was a sweet fight.
Did you see he's fought again recently? Cerrone fought Pettis last week as well. He faced the same card with Gaethje and Ferguson. He faced Pettis then as well. And
oh really?
Yeah, and he lost that fight as well. But if I feel like it was a bad judge decision, if you ask me. But
I feel it was the right call.
Nah, I think wasn't it like 30-27 Pettis or something? I think it was something.
It was close
like that. But yeah, it was a shame though because literally, he was actually doing quite well that fight. He was holding his own. I think he took Pettis like down like 2 or 3 times. But at the end of the day, they gave it to Pettis. That's the thing. But it's looking bleak for Cerrone. I was saying to you, Dixon, before as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think now it's 4 losses in a row. I feel like he's going to be considering retiring quite soon. I don't think this year, but in a couple of years, I reckon he'll be thinking of retirement because the amount of losing streaks he's been going on. That's the thing.
Yeah, like I mean, for one, the guy's like 34, isn't he? 34.
37.
He's in his 30s. 37, yeah.
Late 30s, yeah.
He's going on to 40s, and it's like the thing about Donald Cerrone, like he's obviously a respected like fighter in the community. Like he's been around since like the early days.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's when you've had that much success, and you go on and like you live long enough and you start to see like new fighters, new generation of fighters are coming in. The new ways of fighting that like they're now in the octagon that wasn't in when he actually started. Like and stuff like that. There's new just basically like younger people, refreshed, coming into the game. You shouldn't want to like tarnish your record and stuff like that with these amounts of losses. That's on there now. A lot of them could be avoided. A lot of them could have been avoided as well. He just went for it, and it's making him more and more desperate for fights that he can't handle. I call it tarnishing. It's kind of a strong word, but like he's ruining a legacy that he worked so hard to get. I feel like
there's a lot to be said for bowing out gracefully. I reckon there's nothing wrong with it at all.
I feel like a good skill a fighter, every fighter should have, is to know when to call it quits as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if, I guess, say what if you feel like you got something left to give? Do you reckon there should be like a little, maybe like a rule, like if I lose X amount of fights, even if I feel like I got it, maybe it's time to reconsider? Or I guess it's more of you and your coach's jobs, isn't it, to decide when is it a good time to bow out?
Yeah, I don't think like the promoters should get like involved or like stuff like that, because it's more of like a personal thing. You know, if you feel like you can handle it, you can handle it. You know, if you're able to, you should be able to. But it's definitely like more of a coach thing, and the fighter themselves. You know, it's definitely, you know, no coach wants to tell. I'm hoping no coach wants to tell the fighter like, you're done, kid. You know, you know, like like you know, like but it's more about the fighter being aware, but a good coach should at least like let them know what their current
situation should like try and realize that sooner, and whatever energy. I know it's hard because obviously, you know, it's almost it gets to the point where it's like it's in your blood and you don't know what else to do. But if you're, you know, if you're a world champion boxer or MMA fighter and you've got all that money, you know, then I feel like you should put your energy into someone else, a protege. I'd like to see more fighters, more big fighters doing that. You don't see hardly any great fighters ever become coaches. God knows they got time as well. It's like
that's true.
You know, that and then, you know, it's like all they got to do is think about where they came from. You know, most of them obviously gutter as well. You know, especially like, you know, in America and shit. And I think it'd be nice for them to, maybe it's a little bit harder to get their kids involved, because obviously if they've got their money from fighting, then their kids come with money, and maybe it's a little bit tougher. But you know, that's not to say that's not possible. But then I don't see don't open gyms or train people themselves more.
Definitely. You can open protege, you know, that has the knowledge of Donald Cerrone, you know. And then that goes on, you know, to become even better in applying, you know, better things to it. But it's kind of it's a hard decision to make, very hard decision. Even Alistair Overeem as well is thinking about retiring. Like, you know, after his last fight.
Oh God, man.
He's a G.
I swear his last one, his lip got punched off his face.
Strike.
I don't even have a lip anymore. You can't fight.
And that was funny. He won his last fight as well. He won, yes.
Yeah, he won. That fight was so emotional. Like, like so the build up to this fight, like, Matt, what's Anthony? What's his name?
Walt Harris, I think.
Walt Harris. Yeah, his daughter went missing, like, you know, and then was found. Eventually found like dead closer to the fight, and then he was scheduled to fight Alistair Overeem, and like Alistair Overeem, you know, he just came up from that big, you know, losing his lip, you know, from his last fight, and like ended up losing. You know, like, you know, you kind of think that, you know, a guy whose story, you know, he's lost his daughter, you know, so goes ahead with it, you know, because he thinks, you know, it's career. This is a film, you know, kind of like you wouldn't expect him to lose. You know, you kind of think, you know, at least he's gonna win, but it's such a hard decision. And like, props to Alistair, he was very respectful about it. And it was his birthday that same night, you know, coincidentally.
You got
it was Alistair's birthday.
birthday.
It's like what a swell of emotion. You know, like how does it? It's such a weird, hard thing to even like comprehend, and like to be the guy who won against a guy, you know, who's
gone through so much.
Daughter, it's incredible. Like, like I actually do respect a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Because it's not like fighters are good for like the whole, like, you think, oh, you're getting punched, you know, like that's the body, the physical aspect, but it's all like also the mental aspect, the emotional aspect of it, you know, because like they have to give a lot, like it's mentally draining to, go through this like intensive, like, workout routines. It's mentally draining to even lose a fight, like let alone like to then win ones, later on when you get better. Like it's very hard. And then they still do that, for like the pleasure of like, I guess for themselves.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a very hard one.
It's tough. They were saying like how Dana White said just him being there is a win for him anyway, because he battled through obviously such a tragic story, trying to come from that, do the training and everything. So obviously he would have liked to win as well, but the fact that he's gone through this is like kind of like a healing process as well. And apparently she was quite supportive of his MMA career as well. So I guess like in these times, like you want to continue to do it for her as well. So it was a touching incident, to be fair. That's the thing. But Overeem came over and then got I think it was a TKO, wasn't it?
I was gonna say, how do you feel about like MMA, like Shaquille? Like, would you ever consider doing something like that?
Ooh.
In the future? I mean, because like Muay Thai is like the foundation of striking in like most MMA fighters.
But the groundwork is just a whole different kettle of fish, and that's a kettle I wouldn't even want to use for my team. I'm not even a fan of clinching in Muay Thai. I hate clinching. Like, I obviously do it because a lot of people, you will always end up in the clinch, and you gotta work and stuff like that. But I don't think I had a fight. You in training, you train a nice, good clinch technique. When you watch the Thais clinch, it's always so nice and stuff like that. Then in a fight, someone's just hugging you. It's like it's not how it's supposed to be, man. That's why I hate clinching. It's just sometimes it feels messy. I think maybe if you've got a good clincher, it might feel better. I just don't like grappling. Let alone on the ground, it will be 10 times worse, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like with the clinching, it, like you say, it's more scrappy, and it's like with stuff like Muay Thai or like with boxing, the fight kind of ends once they're down as well. You get time to get back up. With MMA, once you're down, it's like fuck. Like it's not over. It's not over.
You've got more problems.
If you're not a ground person, it's actually there's a lot more weapons and things to look out for.
It's true. But then I do really like. To be honest, I've liked watching it a lot more this year, like the start of this year and stuff like that. Especially just watching the difference, like we were talking about, like grappling, more of a grappler versus more of a striker and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Before I was just now, I could probably sit there and be like I'm interested. What's going on? But it's giving me a little bit more of a keen interest in it.
It's good to know, because like fights are very messy. Like you said, it's like they're unavoidable things. Like especially like things like the clinch. Like that's just like one aspect, and that's another thing that's unavoidable. And it's even in boxing. Like things like takedowns as well. It's another inevitable thing. Like I guess that's what they call it. The ultimate fighter.
Yeah.
Like it's like all encompassing. You gotta have some kind of like you have knowledge of at least all disciplines.
But I think for me personally, I'll always just stick to Muay Thai. As well because I went to Thailand just before this, like a couple of months ago in March. Just before this, went there for 10 days. It's supposed to be 2 weeks. Obviously, got cut short because of all this bullshit. But even out there, like we went to 2 different gyms and they taught us 2 different styles.
Same. Muay Thai.
It's Muay Thai, but they were just two completely different styles of Muay Thai.
Okay.
So, you know, and obviously it's good to do that. You know, that's my third time in Thailand. You know, and it's good that they didn't just kind of like, all right, you know, let's just blast him on pads because we can see that he's fought before. They were actually trying to teach me, which was good. But then it was like, all right, this is a whole new thing to assimilate. And then going here, that's a whole new to assimilate as well. And there was just, I've come back with just, it's almost like a little bit of an overload of information. And if I'm still discovering that like 10 years later in Thai boxing, going into a new martial art, just explode my head.
What would you say, like, are they like, is it like more of the traditional form, or is it like, like, because I never knew there was like a whole like Western, Eastern kind of thing of like the same Muay Thai.
I mean, is there any better as well?
Is there, say again?
Is there like, were there like a quite a big difference between like how, were they like a level up in Thailand compared to what you're used to, or are they like all these different aspects?
Oh, they always are, man. Always, mate. They always are.
Yeah.
Always, yeah. That's why, you know, you got to go out there, out there, because that's where it's from.
Yeah.
Those are the people who invented. You know, you got to go and learn from them and take from. That's why obviously it is different here. You know, I think Westerners, we fight a lot more aggressively. It means more to us.
Okay,
you know.
Yeah,
Also, we tend to box more. So even if you do Thai boxing, we're going to favour punches more. In Thailand, it's all about kicks, knees, elbows, you know, elbows to punches. Punches come last in terms of scoring.
Okay.
Everything else, it's all leg work. It's all leg work. But yeah, it's just so much more technical. But then I knew that. But then it's just like, okay, so you got Muay Thai, but then you got so many different styles now coming into play. And you see it more with I don't know if you guys have watched One Championship as well.
Oh yeah,
a few of them.
Then even like you see it now a lot more on like a wider world scale as well. That all these styles are just coming together, and it's good, man. It's good.
It sounds like I feel Muay Thai is one of the things I always wanted to try. It's one of the, I think all the striking ones, I think I want to do that. I'm not really, I like watching boxing. I haven't really got a feel to try box. I feel like I'll probably be too bored for it. But Muay Thai with the elbows and the knees is something I always thought would be quite sick to get into.
No, it is, man. It is. It's like, you know, don't call it the art of 8 limbs for no reason. You know, use near enough everything.
Yeah,
it's kind of dangerous to practice. Though, don't you think? Like, you know, all this practice with a friend, you get elbowed in the eye.
True. No, that's true though.
It takes a while before you get elbowed in the eye. Don't worry. That didn't happen too early on anyway.
So when can you spar?
What's that?
When can you spar then? And for Muay Thai, guys, like how they like. So you
can use elbow pads. I've used elbow pads when we spar before.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're really uncomfortable, and because obviously they go around from here, so there's like it starts on your bicep and then on your forearm.
Okay.
But it constricts the fuck out of your arm. So then you can't punch.
Listen, so bad, bro.
So that's why I hate wearing them.
Oh yeah.
So you would have gone for one, and then obviously just to let them know, cool, I could do that, or just tap them on the shoulder with your elbow or something like that. But yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to go cracking noggins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. I think
that's how I always felt. Yeah.
I think my
imagine. I was gonna say like with the Henry Cejudo and the Dominic Cruz fight. That's the last one we need to talk about. So.
We could try it. I'm not sure. I don't know how much my computer's going to make it through it, but we can give it. It might have to be Abby jumping in and out if it comes out of connection. If that's calm though.
Yeah, because you get like 40 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I get I'm using my brother's one. So he got the pro, so it's unlimited. But I'm thinking more.
I see.
The fact that it's keep coming in and out while I'm talking. I don't know if we'll keep doing that for that as well. Now we could talk about one briefly as well.
Okay.
Let's do that as well. Let's do go 3, 2, 1 actually. But yeah, so what do you think about the Henry Cejudo fight with Dominick Cruz as well? Did you see actually do you feel like the early stoppage actually? That's what I'll ask. Do you reckon it was an early stoppage?
It's hard to explain because like it's hard to even say because he did like take a lot of shots while because he was very active. He even looked conscious, like he was getting up.
Yeah.
Knocked down by like a vicious knee, and then after the knee, he was like, Cejudo was on him like a gel, just like literally punching him, and he wasn't even trying to block. He was just like he remained calm. I feel like technically it's the right stoppage, but the guy looked fine. He looked fine, but he was taking a lot of punches. But
and he wasn't getting up, was he?
Yeah. It's not going to be bloody, up to like 5 rounds. And Dominick Cruz, gets hit by one knee, goes down, and then on his way back up, he gets stopped, in like round 2. Yeah,
I think it
was it round 2?
I think it was.
Even though he looked completely fine, that's weird.
I do feel like it was the right stoppage though. I feel like he wasn't like, although the punch wasn't doing much to him, they said it was 11 unanswered shots. So if you're not defending yourself for 11 shots, you should get stopped for that. Although you're still getting up, you should at least maybe try to cover up more or something like that. Yes, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Like people like I think he even admitted he said like Dana told him like don't give the refs an excuse, because like he knew that because basically the UFC don't control the refs, and like he didn't want tonight to go off with with any like controversies like it did anyways. But like he was like, don't give the refs an excuse, like just go out there, and actually work, keep busy. And like he gave the rest an excuse. He just didn't keep his hands up. He just kept eating the shots, and that's again, it's hard to say. Like he blamed the ref at the end of it, saying, he smelled like it smelled like cigarettes and alcohol, and like I don't know, man. Like it felt like even more of an excuse now. It kind of came off dickish.
I feel like the refs in UFC are quite passive anyway. Whether someone didn't deserve to get in boxing every much. Sometimes like in UFC I barely even notice the ref. There's even like a third person in the cage, just like just all the way at the other end or something like that. But boxing, like they pull them apart, tell them off and stuff like that. Boxing, boy, it's even worse. Sometimes the ref's the main guy in the fight. He's like he'll slap you on the back and be like fight. Like, if you don't fight, then they'll tell you off, man.
That's what I like about it.
Sometimes maybe they could be more involved. I don't know, man.
You reckon? I don't know. I reckon if the more, I think
more involved in terms of like.
Yeah. Because
what do you mean? Like
I don't know, man.
Because I'm on the opposite side. I feel like I hate when they're grappling and the guy gets told to stand up. That pisses me off. Because you got him on the floor, you're doing somewhat or something. You're not like you're just lying there. So let him work.
I mean, 5-minute rounds. It's going to be slower pace, I guess.
I'm for it, to be honest. Like, I'm for like the way it is now, because like when they're on the ground and you're constantly like you're denying the other guy to move anywhere, but you're not like really doing anything. It's like what you're not really playing the game. You're kind of you're blocking the other guy from doing stuff, but then you're not doing stuff yourself.
I get.
Be trying to like get to a more advantageous position, you know, like, and then obviously, you know what I mean, like, it would just be better if there's like, just kind of told them, you know, you need to like fight. He only did that like at like round 5, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like when it's already too late, you know, it's still like 2 minutes still has to go. You know, if they're gonna get intervene and tell people to fight, just do it in the earlier rounds. Warn them off, you know, first of all.
Yeah.
If they're not there to fight, they're wasting people's time.
Or especially, you know, 4 and 5. You know, rounds 4 and 5. That's when you definitely got pace. Has definitely got those are the money rounds. You know, that's when you got to push. And I think refs should definitely be more involved then, especially in a fight like Romero and the Romero fight.
Oh yeah, that's true. That makes sense for the Romero fight. But I was thinking more
with the Cruz one though, like he got stopped with like 2 seconds, you know, left on the clock.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. Like I felt like it could have just been left to go on a bit longer. With
true, yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah, I get it.
He had 11 unanswered shots and he was still conscious.
Yeah, but I guess.
And then, like, he's going on.
Yeah, but I guess like it depends on that, because if I guess the ref is not looking at the what's it called, the clock, is he? So he wouldn't see how long he got left. Because he don't want, you see what I mean? So I guess it's a bit of
but the ref should know how long's on the clock, so yeah.
That's
like,
not
the ref.
He jumped to ref it. I feel like if someone got knocked out like 1 second left, surely that should be a KO for someone still. Then it goes to decision.
Well, what do you say, sir?
If someone gets knocked out like 1 second left on time, that should go as a KO to the person who knocked him out, then a decision, no?
I think if the ref calls it in time, then I guess so.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I always thought about. So I guess that's how I thought it wasn't. That's why I didn't think it was too bad of a stoppage, I guess. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't KO. It wasn't. It's gonna be like a back and forth. Yeah. But like, you know, like according to Cruz, the facts were he smelled like cigarettes and alcohol. So I guess we'll never know.
No one said refs have to be the picture of health, do they?
Yeah,
exactly. You know, coming in like a kale sandwich or something. You know,
they're not athletes. Flipping out. They want, man.
What did you think of like Henry like retiring after winning such a controversial controversy like that? You know, then retiring to like a no crowd.
I thought it was bullshit at first.
Yeah,
I thought it was completely. I thought it was going to come back very soon, but apparently he's serious. He says that he's tired of the sport he's been competing for since he's like 12 years old or something. So like he's ready to now call it quits. But then I saw there was this thing about his manager saying that he doesn't believe he'll do it. He thinks he's a money tactic because he is young. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a money tactic. Like it's. And he even says like Dana. He keeps saying like Dana knows the figure to bring me back into the UFC. And it's like, well, you know, I don't think Dana even cares. It's just that truth. Like, Cejudo is such a cringy guy that like he's so cringe. I feel like that's partly because like I don't think he's one of those guys who's just kind of like done wrestling from when he was young and that's all he knows. That's all he knows. You know, he works. His life's in the gym. But then when it comes to like the UFC, like, you know, an audience for, you know, a division, then puts on this kind of cringy act, you know, to try and get views. It's weird to watch.
You don't think it's working.
And I feel like, you know, if he leaves, I don't think it's working. Like, it's just gonna mean someone cooler, a more genuine. It's gonna like be the next champ. You know, like it's hard to be a fan of someone that you can't really read. You know.
And plus that division is stacked. So they're not really going to lose if he leaves as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people, you know, that could have like, you know, a good claim, you know, for his division. Yeah.
It's true. So definitely, that's why it'd be funny if you see him come back. After, if he comes back, he's the same pay, nothing big or whatnot, just fighting. He's like, I guess it's you can't blame him, but I guess.
Do you think he would actually say the? Do you think he would actually say the truth though if he came back? Like, you know, after let's say it's been like 2 years, and you know, and like Dana offers him like a fight, like a last minute fight, someone drops out. Do you think he would actually say the truth if Dana offered him more money? Like,
he may not, but you can see everyone's purse or the basic rate online, so you know like what's the base rate. Because like every week,
you can just you can just search up their pay.
Not the full pay, but you search like the base rate, not like the pay-per-view points and stuff. But you can see offered. I think he was offered $350K for that fight. I think. So I think he was catering still.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. If it's after 2 years, it could be because the fighter is broke. So maybe they've blown all their money.
Yeah, true.
Or something. That's when they've been enticed by like a big offer or something.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, it's just. I think
to be fair, 33K is not that much for like for like a champ of the UFC kind of standard.
No,
you kind of 350K.
Yeah, not 33. That's not money.
Okay, yeah. I think I was about to say. I was thinking like Jesus. You know, you're going out there to fight the world's best for like
33K. Nah,
like
350. Again.
350 is actually quite decent. Yeah.
That's why.
That's
that's why you can call it quits for now, and then maybe come back maybe like a year or two's time. That's the thing.
What do you think of John Jones moving up to
heavyweight?
John Bones Jones.
He looked a bit. Man, he looked a bit stuck in the mud in his last fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my god! And he's going up to fight. He wants to fight Francis Ngannou. Like,
I think he's nothing.
Like the guy with the strongest punch in his entire.
I love John Jones. I do love him.
Same.
I do love him as well.
There's been tons of great fighters that underestimate going up in weight class as well, man.
True.
It's easy. Well, it's easy to think it because it's just nice to be heavier for everyone. It's nice, but you forget about receiving. Receiving is a whole different story, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is the thing. It's like, you can hit a bit harder, but like you're fighting guys that have been hitting this hard. You know, like since they started. You know.
Yeah. It's not an overnight thing at all, man.
Yeah. You think you got a chance?
Late in your career. Great. It's not a great idea.
you think you got
a chance against Ngannou? Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, Ngannou literally finished the Rosenstrike in 2 seconds. His last 4 fights have been like a minute and a half together.
Yeah, it's been basically
together. You know, you can oh man, like John is to call someone like that out when John isn't even the hardest hitter in his division.
Yeah.
You know, like he breaks down. His whole thing is that he doesn't hit hard. He hits inside. You know, that kind of thing.
And he takes it
I'm a big fan of him, but I don't think he's got a chance.
Yeah, I feel like
it's
kind of like it's kind of dumb to call him out of everyone.
He's been up and down the last 2 years as well, man. He's not been like, he's not been consistent.
Yeah.
And just looking at that last performance, well, he actually didn't really win the fight. If we're talking truth.
I feel like he's just partying too hard now. He's reverting back to like his old Jones. Yeah, his old Jones. And that's the thing with Jones. This is why like I feel like a part of me believes he can win, but it's the thing with Jones. You never know like what kind of Jones you're gonna get in that fight. You know, like are you gonna get the Jones that you're gonna get like that had such dominating performances like earlier on. You know, like after taking that loss to Gustafsson and then coming back with like with that dominating performance, I felt like a lot like old Jones again.
Yeah.
You know, but like it depends on how serious is he gonna take this.
I started following his Instagram a little while ago, and I swear all he does is shoot bow and arrows and do heavy squats, and that is
it. Bow arrows or guns. I showed his cat on the Instagram. That's about it. He goes,
this guy, like he doesn't seem to understand, how many people can actually because it feels like he's slipping.
I don't think
he's
he
getting
cares,
lazier and lazier.
I don't think he cares. I honestly think he's
about the belt.
About anything. I feel like he's just giving up in terms of fighting wise. He don't give a shit about it. I think if they took all these bollocks, I don't think the next fight won't be against Francis. I would love it to be, but it just won't be. You're gonna fight.
He's just still in it just to make Daniel Cormier cry.
Basically.
I love how he's doing this when Daniel Cormier is leaving.
That's why I love it, because Daniel Cormier, he gets so emotional whenever whenever talk about John Jones. That's the most hilarious thing for me. I think maybe that's why he's doing it. Just piss fucking Daniel Cormier off. Big crybaby.
Nah, I feel bad for him though. Daniel, such a great fighter to have such a taint on his record for the rest of his time. It's just sad.
I just love how he gets riled up so much. It's the most hilarious thing to watch.
John is definitely a nail in Daniel Cormier's side.
He is, man.
It's the shadow to cut it.
You've been boozing and taking cocaine, and he's like, well, that was a great couple of weekends. Now I'm gonna come back and put grass.
He'll beat you after 1 week.
Wicked. I love him.
It's wild, but hopefully we'll see.
And he did beat him up. That's the worst thing.
Some PEDs.
I feel like if DC wanted to really, really retire, though, without any questions to his record, he does need to beat John Jones. That's something. That is something that's always going to hang over him, though. And Jones knows this. He knows this.
Yeah.
He knows that his legacy will always be stained by him.
But then, I guess, but now if he leaves now, he leaves the second best. So at least that way he's accepted it, because he's not going to beat these John Jones at all. It's just not happening. So rather than lose the third time, just accept that this is my superior, and let me just bow out gracefully. That's what I feel like. I don't think that he will do. That just makes more sense than trying to fight again at age 42 or something.
Nah, I reckon them two will have a kind of Eubank and Ben grudge probably to the day they die.
No. You never know.
I can see that happening.
We'll see. But I'm gonna have to wrap it up now though. But we talked about bear stuff. I don't know. I think UFC 249 review we did. What else we did? Who was this?
We talked about throughout the week really.
Yeah, and then the Overeem one as well. I think now there's not going to be much UFC fights until they try to figure out dates. I think the Woodley fight is the next one. I think they said they were doing as well. But
really,
yeah, I think meant to be May 30th. So we'll see if that actually comes to place in the Apex arena. That's the thing, but we'll see. But people, if there's any glitches in here, it's not my fault, guys. It's just internet problems, isn't it? So, hopefully they get edited right and whatnot. But this is Grandad Henry here. We got Dixon here. Dixon officially Eric, isn't it? On your IG page.
Officially Rex, yeah.
Rex, that's the one. Yeah, officially Rex, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously follow him as well there. We got Shaquille as well. Shaquille, what's the IG page?
So it's called Lion Training PT.
Lion Training PT as well. Do you do personal training as well? Do you do?
To be honest, I don't actually I coach. I don't actually PT.
Yeah. So you're coaching though, so Muay Thai coaches.
Just a little bit of boxing coaching and stuff like that.
Okay. So if you guys need some striking coaches, go to Shaquille's Way, innit? They give you a little. Where is it? Is it whereabouts? In case they're local.
My fighting gym is in South. It's on Old Kent Road.
Nice, yeah. What's it called?
Yeah. You guys should come down, man. If you're ever about.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's it's called Knights Gym.
Okay.
Knights Gym.
Nice gym.
Yeah. Knights. Yeah.
Did you do any jiu-jitsu there? Do they?
They do, yeah. They've got MMA classes there as well.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm actually come through then to try. Get back in it again,
yeah.
to see you
get elbowed in the eye.
No face it yet, just yet. Just